Hey everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to build a conversational chatbot with custom memory. This project is intended for beginners in generative AI. So if you're someone who's experienced or advanced level projects, please stay tuned and subscribe to my channel so that you will get to know all the latest projects that I'm going to build in the future. Before we get into the project, make sure you know Python very well and you should also know Fast API. If you don't know Fast API, let me know in the comment section so that I can create a course for you. First thing first, I'm using a Ubuntu OS. So don't panic, same thing is going to work out in the Windows machine too. Now the first thing that I'm going to do is create a new folder called chatbot. And I'm going to open this chatbot folder with my VS Code. Now by clicking this icon, I'm going to create two folders. One will be backend and another will be frontend. Now let's open a new terminal. Let's create a new Conda environment. Conda create dash dash name, your environment name. Let's call it chatbot. And I'm going to use Python 3.10. Hit enter. Then give yes, enter. And we are done. So as you can see, there's a path for desktop slash chatbot. So similarly, I'm going to traverse this path using my terminal. These are some basic terminal commands. Using cd, we can go to cd desktop, then cd chatbot. Over here, I'm again going to go for backend. Now here, I'm going to activate my environment. I'm just going to clear it. Now in this backend folder, let's create a file named requirements.txt. Now in this requirements.txt, I'm going to copy paste some of the requirements that are there for this project. It is nothing but basic Fast API, UVCon, and all those libraries related to LangChain and Groq. Now let's install this. For that, just open up the terminal and give this command pip install -r requirements.txt. And we are done installing all the requirements. Let me just clear the terminal. Now let's create a file for app.py, which is going to be our only application Python file. In this, I'm going to start copy pasting a little bit of code and I'll explain you one by one. Now first, these are all imports. For the part of imports, I'm going to explain it to you one by one. The OS import is going to be dealing with all the system related things, and this is for typing, and .env is for getting our environment variables, which I'll be showing you later. And for the Fast API part, I'm going to import Fast API from Fast API. And the Pydantic model is nothing but a validation thing. It is actually used in Node.js too. If you're someone who is from Node.js, there's a thing called Express Validator. So it is very similar to the Express Validator, but this is in Python Fast API. And after that, we are importing Groq. Then I'm going to import Fast API middleware called CORS. This is going to be very helpful when you're trying to reach out your application through different front-end libraries or different front-end endpoints. Now I'm going to type load_.env. And after that, using OS library, I'm going to get env the Groq API key. Now, where do we get this Groq API key? Before that, I'm going to create a file for it. Let's say .env. Now in this, just use the same variable that I have assigned inside that, Groq API underscore key. Now in order to get the key, let me just show you the steps. Open up a Chrome browser and go to groq.com. And in that, in the developers section, there's a section called free API key. Now here you can see a bunch of API keys that are created by me only. For the time being, I'm going to delete the previous chatbot API key. And now I'm going to create it again. After you pass the verification, it will give you the API key. Now just copy it and paste it in the .env file. Now let's close the env file. Now we are just creating a small condition for verifying Groq API key. If the key is not found, it will raise a value error called API key for Groq is missing. Please set the Groq API key in the .env file. Now after that, I'm going to instantiate this using app equals to fast API. This is how you instantiate the Fast API application. It is very similar to Node.js Express application. And after that, I'm going to add this middleware for CORS. This basically allows different origins, credentials, methods, and headers as of now. The asterisk symbol means it is going to allow all the origins as of now. Now after that, we are going to instantiate the Groq API client. So I'm going to assign it to a variable called client equals to Groq, and API key will be passed to it. Then we are defining a class called user input. This is the validation model. The base model comes from Fast API Pydantic model. In this, I'm going to set message, role, and conversation ID. And why this is used, I'll just show you in a while. Now let's say you're creating a endpoint for app.post. It is a post request to slash chat. In that we are going to use a asynchronous function which will take the chat as input. So in order to pass these three and to verify whether these three parameters are string, this pydantic model is used. So basically you will be passing the user input to the input in the asynchronous function. Now for now I'm just going to remove it and later I'll include that. Now we are going to define a class for conversation recording. So generally if you go back and forth in a chatbot, there won't be any memory. So we are not going to use any database or memory system over here. So we are just going to implement a basic dictionary which is stored inside a list using a class called conversation. Inside that you can see that there are self.messages which contains dictionaries inside a list. So you can see the format below too. It is called role, then it will say system, then content, you are a useful AI assistant. And to know whether the chatbot is active or not, we are going to do it with self.active. And it is a bool value, so we are going to give it as true. Now, in order to hold the conversations, we are going to initialize a dictionary where it is going to be string conversation. So it is an empty dictionary over here. Now, after that, now please don't panic after seeing this code. You can see that it is just a Groq query API. This code can be found from Groq Playground itself. This is nothing new. So we are going to use a model Llama 3.1 8B instant from the model that they have. And there are some few parameters that you need to understand, and the temperature is set to 1 and max tokens are as of now set to 1024, and all these values are mandatory in order to get the response from the Grok API. Since the response is being streamed, we are going to add all the response that we get as chunks, then we are going to return it as a whole sentence. Now we are going to implement the endpoint using the app.post/chat, and inside it the asynchronous function is going to take the user input, which is the pydantic model that we had defined earlier. Now after this I'm going to create a function called get or create conversation. Now in this function it is going to find if the conversation is there or not. If it is not there, it is going to again initialize the conversation class that we had defined earlier. Or if it is found, then it will just return the conversation ID. And the conversation ID that is there over here will be passed in a while from the input. Now I'm going to define the endpoint at the rate app.post/chat, inside which we have a asynchronous function which takes the user input that we had defined earlier. It is a pydantic class for verification of variables. Now we are going to call the function get or create conversation and pass the input conversation ID to it. Now it will store the conversation for the particular conversation ID that you're going to pass. This is to maintain the privacy between each and every user that you're going to deal with. Now we are just basically checking that if the conversation is active or not. Since we had defined conversation active is true. So in case if it was false, then it will return the chat session has ended. Please start a new session. Now we are not going to make it false by default. We have just set it to true. Now let's create a try and accept condition, inside which we are going to first append the role and the content that you are going to get from the user. The role is basically defined as user, and the content is the content that you are going to pass from the UI or the Postman application. Now using the function query Grok API that we had defined earlier, we are going to pass the conversation before. So any conversation that happened before will be passed inside the response. Now the conversation dot messages dot append. Again, this is going to be a dictionary, but this time it's the role of assistant. That means the response that we get from the AI is going to be appended. So the first time we are going to append user message, then second time we are going to append the response that we get from the AI. Now we are going to return the response. And optionally, you can also return the conversation ID if you're dealing with some kind of front end issue. And this is the exception case that we are giving here. And usually if it's a single fast API application, we prefer to go with this thing called if name equals to main. Then we have to import uvcon, and uvcon will run this app in the local host, and that too for port 8000. So I have specifically defined 8000. Even though if you're not defined it, it is going to run in 8000 only by default. Now let's open up the terminal and let's type this command uvcon app colon app dash dash reload. As you can see, it is running on 8000 port. Now I have prepared the Postman application request over here. All you need to do is enter HTTP localhost port 8000 slash chat that you're going to pass. So in this message section, you can pass your AI message. So for example, I'm going to say my name is Deepjan. So here it is. We get a reply from the chatbot. Now that was about the backend. Now let's go on and create the React frontend. Now let's open up a new tab in terminal. Then let's head back one directory behind for cd dot dot dash. It will take you to the front end. Now we are going to install React. I generally use React.js plus Vite. So instead of this, I have a solution for this for using Tailwind CSS. So you can see the process over here. All you need to do is copy paste some commands and you're good to go with the React application. So let's start with the first one. I'm going to copy and paste this. So instead of my project, I'm going to give it as chatbot UI. So once you hit that, you can give yes. Now I'm going to copy the second command and paste it. This is going to initialize the Tailwind CSS. And you have to find tailwind.config.js and copy the content from here and paste it over there. Three Tailwind classes. We are going to replace all of this in our index.css. Now in the terminal, you can run npm run dev. So you can see that the React app is running. Now I'm just going to copy paste app.jsx code for this. Since a lot of people are using different kinds of framework for creating their front end, for example, Vue.js, Angular, or anything that you know. So I thought that React.js application users only will be benefited from this. Anyway, this is easy and you can refer to this code from my GitHub repository that I have linked in the description. But here is a point to note, if you are a generative AI engineer and you think that front end is important, I would say that it is not really important. The focus should be always on backend as a generative AI engineer. So let's see the demo. I'm just gonna give a hi. Then I give I'm Deepjan. So it is taking my name. Now I ask what is 2 plus 2. So it is answering it. Then again I ask what is my name. So it is going to give my name because it remembers that I gave a specific conversation ID and it has my name in the memory. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.